All right, guys, happy Tuesday. Tuesday, lesson 51. We got power up G. This is the one with the remainders. This is one I like to say to myself, think. 2 goes into what number close to 7? Think. 6. 3 times. 3 times 2 is 6. Subtract, you get a remainder of 1. What number close to 16 does 3 go into? 15, yes. Think 15. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. Remainder 1. What number close to 15 does 4 go to? I know 16, but 16 is over, so you got to go less. 12. Think 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract remainder 3. How many times 5 go into 28? 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. Remainder 3. How many times 4 go into 21? 20. 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. Remainder 1. What number close to 15 does 6 go into? 12. Good. 2 times. 6 is 12. Remainder 3. 8 times what number is close to 20? 2. 2 times 8 is 16. Remainder 4. 2 goes into 15. How many times? 7 times. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract remainder 1. How many times is 5 going to 43? Think 40. 8 times 5 is 40. Subtract remainder 3. How many times 3 go into 20? 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. Remainder 2. 6 goes into 27. How many times? 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. Remainder 3. How many times does 3 go into 25? 8 times. 8 times 3 is 24. Remainder 1. How many times does 2 go into 17? 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. Remainder 1. How many times does 3 go into 10? 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. Remainder 1. How many times does 7 go into 30? 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. Subtract remainder 2. How many times does 8 go into 25? 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. Subtract remainder 1. How many times does 3 go into 8? Just twice. 2 times 3 is 6. Remainder 2. How many times does 4 go into 30? 7 times 4 is 28. Remainder 2. How many times does 5 go into 32? 5 times 6 is 30. Subtract remainder 2. How many times 7 go into 50? 7 times. 49. Remainder 1. Mental math section. I'm on page 325, lesson 51, 325. Letter A says, from shoulder to fingertips, Autumn's arm was 2 feet 2 inches. How many inches is that? Bracket, bracket, plus 2 feet 2 inches. Feet, inches, feet, inches, times 12. 12 inches in a foot. 12 times 2 equals 24, plus 2 is 26. 26 what? 26 inches. Letter B. A hexagon has 6 sides. If each side of a hexagon is 34 millimeters long, what is the distance around the hexagon? I got 34 plus 34 plus 34 plus 34. Let's just do 34 times 6. 6 sides of 34 millimeters. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 3 is 18 plus 2 is 20. And that's millimeters. 204 millimeters. C. Fractional parts. Wendy has traveled 6 to in 6/10 of the 50 states. How many states is this? We got 6/10 of 50. We're going to divide by the bottom number. 50 divided by 10 equals, remember you can cross off if you got zeros in both. 1 goes into 5 times. Now you're going to multiply by the top number. 5 times 6 equals 30. She's been to 30 states. Oh my goodness, I have not been to anywhere close to 30 states, but that's pretty exciting. 30 states. D, we got our classic fraction, our mixed number problem here. You could look at that one. You could probably do that one in your head. You get a fourth of a cookie minus a fourth of a cookie. That's gone. And 3 minus 1 is 2. Boom, you're done. Here's what it looks like on paper. A fourth minus a fourth is 0 fourths, or nothing. And 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 and 0 fourths. 2 is your answer. All right, moving on. Fractional parts. How many years is 1/4 of a century? Century, centurion, centipede. 100. 1/4 of 100. And we all know that 4 quarters goes into $1. How many times? 25. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract. 4 goes into 25 times. So some of these we've done so many times, that's why we're trying to memorize them best we can. All right. F says 25% of 1/4. When I say 25%, you say 1/4. And I said 1/4. Sorry, 25% of 24. When I say 25%, you say 1/4. 1/4 of 24. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. G, 10%. When I say 10%, you say 1/10. 10% of 20, or 1/10 of 20. Divide by the bottom number. 20 divided by 10 is 2. And the last one. See if we can't fit it across the bottom. I got 1/2 of 20. 20 divided by 2 equals 10. Plus 2 equals 12. Divided by 2 equals 6. Plus 2 equals 8. Divided by 2 equals 4. Plus 2 equals 6. Divided by 2 equals 3. That was a lot of 2's. All right. Problem solving, problem of the day. In the first 6 games of the season, the Rio Vista football team won 4 games and lost 2. They won their 7th game by 8 points. Altogether, the team played 10 games during the season. What is the greatest number of games the Rio Vista could have won during the season? Is it certain that the Rio Vista team won more than half of their games? Yikes. That was a lot of information. A lot of times when they give us that much information, we should read it twice. In the first 6 games of the season, the Rio Vista football team was 4-2. So you normally would put the win-loss column like this. And when you're going to start at, they got 4 and they got 2, which equals a total of 6 games. And so we're going to find out what happens in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th game. Well, let's go on. They won their 7th game by 8 points. So if they won it, this would be a win. They'd be 5-2. Altogether, the team played a total of 10 games during the season. What's the greatest number of games the Rio Vista team could have won during the season? Well, let's say they win the 8th game, they would be 6-2. If they win the 9th game, they'd be 7-2. And if they win the 10th game, they'd be 8-2. So what's the greatest number of wins they could have is 8 wins. They can't have 10 wins because they already lost 2 early in the season. Now there's a second question, so hold on. Let's go back to the second question. The second question says, is it certain that the Rio Vista team won more than half of their games? Well, we know that they were 4-2, and we know they won the next one 5. Is it certain? Well, they probably could have lost this one, they'd be 5-3. And they could have lost this one, they'd be 5-4. And they could have lost this one, they'd be 5-5. Is it certain they won at least half? The answer is no. If they lost the last 3 games, they'd be even, not with more wins. So that's my second answer. All right, guys, today we're going to multiply by 2-digit numbers. Go ahead and flip your sheet over and divide that thing into 6. Stay tuned for our next video to fill that in.